everyone, and welcome back to the Like Us Pod bonus episode play-by-plays of the Real Housewives of Atlanta and the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I am your host, Erin Jones-Wesley, and we are just trying to figure out which Real Housewife is the most like us. Let's get into the episode. There is not time to spare. For Real Housewives of Atlanta, we will start. And honestly, right off the bat, I just feel like we are seeing this fight with Porsha and Kelli continue. And something that was so funny with that is Porsha calling Kelli a hobbit ass. With her little hobbit ass. And the thing is like I feel like Kelli really did try to get Porsha super activated and it worked, right? Kelli says that if someone goes low, she's going to go just as low and now they're in hell. And if this had been an original thought on the show, then Kelli would have gotten a like us point for that. But Angela Oakley actually said it first a few episodes ago. And I said that Angela basically was on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Now, if you don't know what Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is, it's a ride that's at Disneyland, and I think it's actually still at Disney World too. But they always threaten to close this ride for a multitude of reasons. But I think mostly, like on the ride, you go to hell. Like we've talked about this on other episodes, but Kelli also apparently wants to take Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and go to hell with Porsha. And Portia's all about that fight because Porsha thinks that Kelli's a follower. And Kelli says that she's leaving this party at Phaedra's house, which is supposed to be this like super calm party because it was meant to just be like a Reiki healing event, the healing waters event, but that didn't work. The fight broke out. Things got intense. It was kind of K. Michelle who brought all of this to the table, but she did bring all of the beef that she had with people to the table in a really calm way. But then Drew got into it, which then Porsha got pulled into it, and then Kelli kind of like created this extra beast, right? And I think that Porsha and Kelli, they are just like oil and water. They are not going to get along. And what I was trying to explain to someone the other day, because I was talking about how I feel like the cast on Real Housewives of Atlanta is finally really gelling. But I think the holdback of the cast fully gelling is that Kelli feels like she's a remnant of a casting procedure of years past, right? There was a moment, and I know a lot of listeners and a lot of people who were watching Atlanta feel this way. There was a moment where we all didn't enjoy watching the show as much as we should have. And a part of that was that there was just this like beef between the ladies that felt so contrived and unnecessary. And some of it had to do with people getting cast on the show who were fans of the show, but were coming in with like chips on their shoulders unnecessarily to the women who were already on the show. And it just didn't make sense, right? It's like, why do they have beef? They don't even know each other. They literally just met and they're coming in angry about stuff that happened on the show before they were on the show. And Kelli still does this. And we'll talk about that a little bit later too, because Kelli has this way about bringing up moments on the show that happened when she was not on the show. And that just doesn't seem right. I don't like that happens. And I don't know if Kelli and Porsha will ever super align for a lot of reasons. Now, we get K. Michelle in a confessional, and K. Michelle is talking about Drew. And she says that Drew has a face with a man with taco hairs. Now, the taco hairs is funny because the taco hairs, it's like beady beads. Beady beads. It's like when you have the little curly hairs on the chest hair. So instead of the chest hair being straight, like a wilderness man, it's just like it looks like taco meat on the hair. And she said that Drew's face is always like, huh? Like she always looks confused. But I think that K. Michelle's being a hater because Drew's a very pretty girl. I don't know if Drew has a face. I just think maybe she is confused. I don't know. Who's to say? Who's to say? Pinky is happy to leave Phaedra's house with a to-go plate. And I'm going to give Pinky a like us point for that because I too like when I leave somewhere and the host is gracious and gives me a plate to go because Pinky had to get out of there. She had to go with her friend K. Michelle and Kelli. They had to get out of that house. And, Porsha and Angela and Drew, they stay and they sit at the table because Phaedra's their real friend. But the other ladies, they got ran out of that house and Phaedra made them all to-go plates because she's a good hostess with the mostess. You got to have people leaving with food. You can't just like leave people hanging. And so I do feel like Phaedra was a good host for that. And she didn't get enough credit that she deserved for making sure that even though they all caused hoopla at her house, they weren't leaving hungry. You know what I mean? She was going to feed them. And I'm going to give Phaedra a like us point for that because you got to be a good host and you can't have people leaving your house hungry. It's unacceptable. One time, I was dating somebody and they were out of town, but I was friends with their friends and they wanted to throw a party at the house. And so I was helping them kind of throw the party at the house. as the stand-in for the person I was dating. And these boys were a mess. They didn't know anything. They had no food at this party. They invited all these people at their house. They didn't have a lick of food. They didn't have any drinks. And then everyone's looking at me because I'm the woman in the situation. Like, why don't we have food? Why don't we have drinks? And I was like, look, I don't live here. I don't know why there's not food or drinks at this party. I wish there were. But I'm also unprepared because I didn't even know that this was happening or that everyone was going to look to me to be the host. So now I look like I'm not the hostess with the mostess. Embarrassing. I'm cringing. But you gotta be a good host. And Phaedra did that, not letting people leave hungry. I'm writing that down. You got to get a point for that. Now, the complications of K. Michelle, Porsha, and Drew. They say that Drew escalated the issue, but Porsha thinks that Kelly escalated the issue. And I don't think that Drew escalated the issue. And I'm not team Drew because I feel like I'm just meeting her because I haven't really been watching the show until this season. I don't feel like Drew escalated the issue. I think that Drew was trying to stand up for herself and trying to say like, hey, cut the shit. Now, Kelly, there was no one coming for Kelly. There was no reason for Kelly to chime in. Kelly chimes in just to be mean. She chimed in only to be mean. And so I feel like with Kelly chiming in, that was actually the real issue because that's when Porsha got really activated. But K. Michelle says that Porsha doesn't run Atlanta. She thinks she runs Atlanta, but she doesn't. I think that Porsha runs the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think it's her show. I think Porsha hangs out with Vicky Gunvalson and Kyle Richards and Luann DeSeps and Giselle Bryant, and she hangs out with the ladies who are the queens of their shows. And so how could Porsha not think she's the queen of her show? Because she is. You know what I mean? She's with, what's her name? She's with Judice. You know what I mean? Like, she is with the queens of the show. She's with Melissa Gorga. How could she not think she's the queen of Atlanta? Especially with Nene out of the way. It is the kind of Porsche show. I'm just saying. Who else could hit somebody and get invited back and still be on the show? Only Porsha. The next day, Shamia is talking to her mom about the group being divided. And I will say, I'm not down on Shamia. By the way, have you noticed that Shamia and Sloane Stevens, they look like cousins? Sisters, maybe even. They look very, very similar to each other. I wonder if they get that a lot. They look like each other a lot. But Shamia says, that they're still talking about that she's scared to have another kid because she has a child with disabilities, but her husband really wants them to have another son. And she's really nervous that maybe it's a sign that all of these eggs aren't taking. And this is all very sad. I'm giving Shamia, her being so vulnerable about the struggles of being a mom of a child with disabilities. It just feels really honest. And so I am going to give her a like us point for that. But I also like this vest that she's wearing in this scene is really bad. And I feel bad that I'm saying that, but the vest it's not a good vest. Like we've seen Shamia in better clothes. And it was like white patent leather. It's like, Shamia, you're too rich for that. Like that looked like you were wearing a Shein outfit. You're too rich for that, girl. Now, Portia's in the fast food line with Dennis, and she's about to order so much. And something about Porsha is that girl can eat. You know what I mean? Like I'm never believing that Portia's starving because she's not, and honestly, I'm giving out a lot of points this episode, but I feel like that's a +1 like us point because who amongst us isn't going to the fast food line sometimes? I was just at the fast food line today getting a burger at In-N-Out with a cherry Coke. So I get it. Like leave the skinny girls not eating for the skinny girls not eating. Some of us like to eat, and I think that's okay. I think that's fine. In a world of people not eating, be the big bitch getting food. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna say it. So Kelly's boobs. You guys, we need to talk about this quote that Phaedra said. She says, Kelly's boobs are like a sweet chariot. They hang low. And I don't know if everyone fully got that joke because I don't know if everyone knows the song, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, coming for to carry me home. You guys, it's a slave song. It's a slave hymnal. Why did she say that about that lady's boobs? Crazy. Because I guess Kelly likes to not wear bras. They said that Kelly has long boobs. She had a long chest. That was one of the craziest things that anyone's ever said on Housewives. And Phaedra and Kelly, they get together and they're talking about Porsha. And again, I think it's very clear that Kelly will never be friends with Porsha. I also think that Kelly's just kind of a hater. Sorry, I said it. I don't know how Phaedra's cool with somebody who hates on her friend so much. But I get that they're coworkers and they got to film together. But yeah, I just feel like I could see how that would cause an issue with Porsha because it's like, why are you being cool with people who clearly don't like me? You know what I mean? Yellow flag at minimum, red flag at maximum. I'm just saying. Now we see Pinky's daughter, who is a little bit and she's doing a photo shoot, and Angela's daughter shows up too to do a photo shoot, and then Auntie Cynthia arrives, and I felt like this was such a clear Auntie Cynthia moment. Like, she shows up and she's teaching the girls how to pose. She's like, "This is how you pose, girls," and they all pose and take pictures together, and it was just really cute. But then Cynthia, Angela, and Pinky have a chat, and Angela says that she and Shamia are not in a good place, and she calls her Shamessi and Shaliar. And I don't really know what Angela and Shamia's beef is, but I think that they have to keep the beef. I think at this point, if too many people are getting along, the show is boring. And so I do think that Shamia and Angela, they're gonna have to chalk it to the game and not be friends. And it is what it is, right? Cynthia then has a kind of a come to Jesus moment with Angela and Pinky, and she says that, we should all try to get together. We should try to stop having the group be divided. And Pinky says that Porsha had told her that she was willing to try again. And so Cynthia says, "You know what? I think that's good. Let's all go in together to have Porsha and K Michelle try to make amends, and let's all hug it out." So Cynthia makes her, Angela, and Pinky all hug. And I hate a forced hug. I've said this many times on this show. I don't wanna hug anyone I don't wanna hug anyone like that. Like, if it's like, I'm a hugger, but I don't wanna do a forced hug when we're, like, making amends, because it takes me a beat to, like, get in my zone, you know what I mean? It just does. We then see Kelli at the dentist, and you guys, I have so many opinions about this, because she says Jarvis is paying for her dentist, and she's like, for the veneers, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited for these veneers. They're $70,000, blah, blah, blah." And I just don't think that veneers are a good gift. It's not thoughtful. She's like, "Oh my God, he's so thoughtful." It's like, is it? Is it thoughtful to have the nubs? When you get a veneer, they like shave your teeth down to just a nub, and then they put a cap over it. And for that to be $70,000, one, is crazy. But then someone in my comments, because I made a TikTok about it, and they said it's $2,000 per tooth. I just feel like you should spend the money and get braces. You should do the orthodontal work and like change your jawline. You know what I don't understand what veneers does that doing braces. I guess it's like quicker, but not everything that's quick is good. You know what I mean? Like, you should just get the braces and then a teeth whitening plan. Maybe that watch I if I get veneers one day, I'll eat crow. But I just feel like, just get the braces and a teeth whitening plan. You don't need to get the veneers. The veneers, what if the apocalypse happens? And then you need to eat the food and you can't eat because your veneers are falling out and then all you have are nubs. You're not gonna make it. Like, it couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. We then have a meal. It's K Michelle, it's Porsha, it's Cynthia, it's Pinky, because K Michelle and Porsha are gonna have their moment to try to make amends and come back together. And K Michelle says that she doesn't think that Porsha is a bad person, but she thinks that maybe Porsha isn't that smart. And Porsha says that Pinky talks a lot. And she's like, "I can't get a word in when I talk to Pinky. Pinky talks too much." So then Pinky and Cynthia, they go sit on the side so that K Michelle and Porsha can talk. And they finally get to the bottom of what it is. And Porsha just tells K Michelle in a way that I think actually was probably like a cautionary tale of what the producers are doing, but Portia speaking in code. And so she tells K Michelle, "Just be careful what you're told." And I think that's true. I think K Michelle doesn't realize how easy it is to get manipulated by a reality TV show producer. She needs to watch the TV show Unreal. Did you guys ever watch Unreal? It's a scripted show that's about a fictional version of the TV show The Bachelor, and it's two lady producers, and they are essentially just like being complete menaces trying to make storylines for this reality show. And I feel like I think about the show Unreal so often when I'm digesting reality TV, because it is based on producers from The Bachelor, and there is a little bit of that work that, like, the producers themselves do need to be creating stories, which means they need to be stirring the pot, because you need to have conflict, right? You need to have villains. You need to have people who are clearly going on story arcs. And that's what the producers are doing. They're trying to make a good story. They're trying to make a good show. And in doing that, they might, pick out an insecurity. They might say something that might not make you feel good. And I think that Porsha, she's really wise and hip to that. She's not easily manipulatable at this point. That's why she was so upset that the producers put Kelli next to her. And she said, "Don't put me in a situation where I'm going to act out. Don't put a bitch to sit by me." That's what Porsha meant. She was talking to the producers when she said that. And she was just telling K Michelle the same thing. She was like, "Hey, you just got to be aware that these things, it's not always what it seems." And so then they decide to make a friendship contract. And then Cynthia's like, "Oh my God, I love a friendship contract." And we get a flashback to the friendship contract that she and Nene had made years ago for them to stop beefing. And then they say, like, "Okay, yeah, but what about the scheme?" And then Portia's like, "Oh yeah, there was a scheme." Like, "Girl, why do you think I'm trying to scheme?" And she tries to take care of Drew in a way because Drew's not there to speak for herself. And Porsha says, I don't think that Drew would scheme against you. I just don't think that's real. But K Michelle, the jury's still out on K Michelle and Drew, and they're gonna have to settle that beef at another time. Now, the last beef to settle this episode, because we're really pushing through and things are going, we also get Shamia and Angela in a scene. And Shamia says that Angela's discernment is off because Angela says, I don't know if I trust you. I don't know if this is a good thing for us to be together. Like, I just don't know if we could be friends. And Shamia says, I just feel like your discernment is off with me and I haven't done anything. And she says that I think that I just bother you. And Angela says, and this is the best quote, she says, you're not that high on the Richter scale for me to be bothered by you. A word. I just feel like underrated. Angela says that Shamia is trying too much to be like Porsha. She's trying too much to be by Candy. And Angela just like, she can go blow for blow. Like, she's not one to be there to like, oh, maybe we'll make up. She's just hitting Shamia right where it hurts to the point where Shamia's got to get up and go. Angela says, my husband sees you out. Shamia tries to say, well, if your husband sees me out, then he must be out. And Angela's like, yeah, bitch, my husband's outside. That's where he sees your ass. And so what? And so what? Like, I think that in this scene, we do get a lot of Shamia body shaming Angela too for being tall and big. And I don't really like that. I feel like that's nasty work. You don't have to do that. They're also mean to Porsha in the same way too. And it's like being tall is not the same as not taking care of yourself. And they're both tall women. That's not this, like, you're just short. Like, I don't know. Like, that doesn't feel like that's that offensive, but they really try to make height be a thing. The episode ends. Next week seems like a doozy. We're going to get K Michelle and Drew going at it. We're going to have more to come for this mid-season trailer. But as of right now, let's look at the scorecard, okay? So we're ending this episode with kind of a few ladies getting some points on the board. To start, we had Porsha get 5 points, which brings her up to 20 points on the scorecard. She's now tied in second place with Angela. K Michelle is still in first place with 25 points. She didn't get any points this episode, but she remains our leader. We also got Phaedra on the board for being a good hostess, so that brought her up also to 20 points. So she's now tied with Angela and Porsha. And also Pinky got 5 points, which brings her up to 15 points, which has her tied in third place with Drew and Cynthia. Now, that's everyone that's on the board right now. Our top three are K Michelle, Angela, Porsha, Phaedra. Then we have Cynthia, Drew, Pinky, and then we have Shamia and Kelli. Now, if you like your Housewives Unrelatable, then that means that Kelli might be your winner, but it still is, halfway through the season. Things can change at any given time. So stay tuned and we will figure out which Real Housewife of Atlanta is the most like us. I'm going to take a quick break and then we will be back to talk about Real Housewives of Rhode Island. All right, we're back with the Real Housewives of Rhode Island, episode 10, play by play. Let's get into it. So the episode starts, and Liz and Alicia and Joellen are arriving to the show, and the drama is just snowballing. What we saw in the car in the previous episode of these ladies fighting without their seatbelts on, it has now escalated as they show up to the show of Rosie's husband, Rich, who is doing a Frank Sinatra impersonation. I know last episode I was like, oh my God, is he coming for Michael Bublé? But it is very clear he is not coming for Michael Bublé's job. No offense. Liz is still mad that Joellen isn't copping to the homeless allegations, where she initially said that she also didn't think that Alicia was ever homeless, and that she felt like Alicia was being a little bit dramatic by saying that she was. And so Liz is just like, why is Joellen playing both sides of the fence? But Alicia is sad and she's crying and she's looking for her sunglasses, and they walk into the bar and it's really, really awkward because Alicia's like crying, looking at the menu, and Joellen's trying to solve the issue. She's like, Liz, are you mad? Is it okay? Is it okay? And Liz doesn't want to deal with it. But then Ashley arrives and Ashley's like, what's going on? And she can feel the tension and she's like, okay, this is really awkward. And Joellen just lies and says that like Alicia has allergies. Like, are you crying? And she's like, no, she just has allergies. I feel like that was an underrated moment to say. It's like, if you're ever crying, you're like, you don't want to deal with it. You're like, I have something in my eye. And so Alicia just has bad allergies right now. Then this woman named Monique arrives, and Monique has like these sparkling pants that I don't appreciate. I'm sorry. I hate talking about what women are wearing. But I just feel like these sparkling pants are just not, they're not it. But now Rich arrives. He's on stage for the Sinatra Sundays, and he starts singing When the Saints Go Marching In, because apparently that is in the public domain and it's a free song. And oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in. Like, maybe it's a hard song to sing. It didn't sound good, and I don't even think that's a hard song. Like, that's like a song that they have the children sing in the children's choir. And like, I hate talking about people's skill because it takes so much courage to get up there and sing. But like, and I get, like, I guess Frank Sinatra is like is tough, but I don't know about all of that. You know what I mean? I don't know about all that. Liz says she's leaving. Joellen is like, "Oh, let me chat with you about the issue." And I feel like Joellen's not reading the situation right, because Liz is obviously pissed and she doesn't want to talk to you, Joellen. And Joellen's like, "Let me help, let me help, let me help, let me help." So then she follows Liz outside. Liz is just trying to sit outside and smoke a J. And Joellen's like, "Oh, you didn't get me a cigarette. I want to smoke too." And so they're sharing a cigarette, but Liz is mad. And they're all probably had like a little too much to drink. And Liz is so over it, but Joellen doesn't know what she's talking about or doing. And so Liz starts doing too much, and she's yelling at Joellen, and Joellen's yelling at her. And they're both trying to win the fight for being the most dramatic housewife possible in this moment. And Joellen just gets so upset. She like leaves and she storms back inside, and she's like walking, honestly, like a teenage girl. Like, I'm just like, what is I hated everything about this was so stupid, because the fight is a dumb fight. This is a dumbass fight. You're mad at your friend for saying that she was homeless for a time in her life. She was. She was displaced as a child. As a child. What are we talking about? Like, the fact that this is extended, it's just crazy. It's crazy. And then we end up getting to a scene where I feel like it actually shows the insanity of Liz even more, because obviously when Liz gets back inside with Joellen and they're fighting, and she's pulling her chair and she's touching her hair, and Joellen's like, "Liz, you pulled my hair." And Liz is like, "I never touched your hair." And it's like everything is crazy. It's like literally the epitome, and like Lisa Rinna is like with Kim Richards and she's like, "It's wackadoodle time." Like, it is literally the epitome of wackadoodle time. Like, what are we doing here? It's so crazy. So Joellen ends up leaving Rich's performance, but I think she also leaves Rich's performance because, like, she's not missing anything by not being at that performance. You know what I mean? They drove all the way to Boston for that little performance. I think it was fine. And the next scene is Alicia with her family. And now her daughter had won a dance pageant, and so they're doing a family meal to celebrate the daughter for winning the dance pageant. And, Alicia has a lot of ladies in her family. It's like her aunties and her mom. And, they have a lot of women in the family. And all the ladies in the family for Alicia, they're perfect. They're like the old lady gang. You know how like Candy had her version of that? Alicia has her version of that in Rhode Island. And they're all team Alicia all the time. And I appreciate that, because I do think you need to have women in your life who are just team you all the time. And they tell Alicia how they mean it. And in that moment, they say, like, "Why is Liz being mean to you about it?" And even Alicia's mom is like, "Yeah, we were homeless." Liz, what are you talking about? Because Liz is like, "Oh, I'm looking out for your family." And the whole family is like, "Yeah, you guys didn't have a place to live. You were left homeless. That really happened." Is Liz on drugs? That's what they alluded to. They were like, "Is Liz on something? Did it not go with her medication?" And Alicia's like, "I'm not getting into I'm not getting into that." They're messy and I love them. Liz, Kelsey, and Dolores get together. And by the way, I'm just there hasn't been a like us moment yet. It doesn't have to happen every episode. Liz, Kelsey, and Dolores, they get together, and Liz says that she doesn't like that Joellen does this millennial talk with her. But Kelsey says that Liz just doesn't trust Joellen. She said, "I just think you just don't trust her." And Liz is complaining that Joellen's playing the fence between her and Alicia. But then in this scene, Kelsey's playing the fence between Liz and Joellen. And if I was Kelsey, I would be scared of both of these ladies. Like, because Kelsey doesn't have the juice to go up against Liz, and Kelsey doesn't have the juice to go up against Joellen. So she needs to play it cool, because that's getting too big for her britches. She can't duke it out with those two ladies. Like, they can duke it out with each other because they're both crazy white girls. Kelsey is not that crazy. Kelsey's not crazy enough for that. So she does have to tread lightly, and she's trying her best. We get a brief scene with Rosie, who's with Rich's family, and Rich really wants kids because he's 43. And Rosie doesn't really know if she wants kids yet, but she really likes Rich's family. And so they're kind of having like a cutesy little banter back and forth. I was kind of bored. I didn't really care that much. Then we get Ashley and Jared. They're at Audrey's, and Ashley just continuously talks shit about this restaurant slash bar slash coffee shop. And I think she needs to let it lie. I think she needs to let that man have his dream and do what he wants to do with his life. It's like, haven't you ever had a dream? It's like, have you ever seen Tangled? I had a dream. I had a dream. Like maybe she needs to watch Tangled and just know that that is Jared's dream. She needs to just like it's like the pirate with the hook who wants to play the piano. Like who cares if it's unreasonable? It's his dream. Haven't you ever had a dream? That's what Ashley needs to watch the movie Tangled so that she understands that it's just Jared's dream to own this little coffee shop and maybe he doesn't want to be an influencer. You know what I mean? And also like why doesn't she want the coffee shop to thrive and be on this TV show that will clearly then be a housewives landmark? I don't know. I think Ashley's tripping and I think she doesn't understand the show she's on. Joellen goes over to Kelsey's place for new apartment and they make art. And Kelsey's like a very talented artist. Go figure, secret skill. Kind of love to see it. Then we get a meal with Liz and RHOA, and they both hate Joellen. And RHOA says that Joellen cheats on her man. She said, I think Joellen is so interested in what my man's doing because she's cheating on her man. And you're like, oh, is that true? Also, RHOA left the house again. Good for her because she's not leaving the house that often. And it's actually crazy that how little RHOA leaves the house and is still a full-time housewife. It's baffling, actually. Kelsey then does a workout with Bill. And, you know, this is also a conversation I feel like we've extended a little bit, right? Because Bill is saying that he wants Kelsey to figure out her own health insurance and he doesn't want to help her with anything, but she wants her to stop getting help. And I just think that that's a red flag because it wouldn't be a red flag if Kelsey hadn't been honest and Bill didn't get into this relationship with her knowing what her baggage is, but he got into the relationship knowing her baggage and now he's rejecting it, but without wanting to step up and support her in the way that she clearly needs. Like that's clearly support that she needs right now. You know what I mean? It's like a version of alimony and I just don't know why he can't see it as a version of alimony. Like that also feels bizarre to me. I don't know. I'm kind of team Kelsey on how she wants to handle things with Bill. And if she's not really even with Bill, good riddance. You know what I mean? I think you get him out of there. I think you're single. And I think maybe someone, because you're on the show, slides in your DMs. That's what I think Kelsey needs to go for. Now we get Liz and Joellen. And I think Joellen is a master manipulator. I think she's very good at manipulating situations. And I think Liz knows that about Joellen. I think she doesn't appreciate that about Joellen. But Liz says she doesn't remember that she pulled Joellen's hair and moved the chair. And I'm like, okay, now we have two people doing way too much, pretending way too much. And at the end of the episode, no one on Rhode Island got a point, you guys. I didn't watch any part of that episode that I was like, oh my God, let me give them a point. No one got a point this episode. The person who could have maybe got a point was Alicia, because I liked that she has like all the women in her family and they're galvanizing, around her. And she says that she was afraid to tell her mom what happened because she didn't want them to hold it against Joelle. And so, you know what? I'm going to give Alicia gets the one like us point of the episode for being afraid of talking crap, for being afraid of talking crap about a friend to a family member so that they don't hold a grudge. Because once you tell a family member what someone did that did you wrong, they're never going to look at that friend the same. And so I appreciate that that's where Alicia was coming from. So, I will give her a point for that. And so if we're looking at the scorecard for Real Housewives of Rhode Island, that keeps Alicia with her lead. She's the only one that got a like us point this week. She already had a lead with 30 points. Now that puts her ahead at 35 points. That is 10 points ahead of the next person, which is Rosie and Joellen, who are tied at 25 points. Ashley has 20. Kelsey has 15, Liz has 10, Dolores and Rula both have 5, and that is our scorecard for the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. So as of right now, it's looking like Kay, Michelle, and Alicia are still at the top of our leaderboard for the most relatable housewives, but stay tuned because it's anyone's match. We still have so many more weeks to go, and I can't wait to keep chatting with you guys all here. If you want your own scorecard, you can go to erinjw.com/keep score, and you can keep score episode by episode, or you can just follow along on the scorecard recaps, which I show up on social media for every single week. It's at Erin Jones-Wesley. Make sure to follow the Like Us podcast where we are doing pop culture recaps every single week at Like Us Pod. Thanks so much for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, all those good things. They mean so much. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.